The Quakers, formerly known as the Religious Society of Friends, were founded by George Fox, who preached that spirituality was rooted in an individual's personal relationship with God.
Our principle is, and our practices have always been, to seek peace, and to follow after righteousness and the knowledge of God, seeking the good and welfare, and doing that which tends to the peace of all. George Fox, 1661.
This religious view left little room for clergy, liturgy, or hierarchy, and rejected doctrines such as predestination.
No man or number of men upon earth hath power or authority to rule over men's consciences in religious matters. West New Jersey Concessions and Agreements, 1676.
Fox's followers were called Quakers, which was originally meant as an insult because they trembled at the name of the Lord. Quakers were deeply devoted to their beliefs. They believed that they could communicate directly with God, opposed war, refused to pay taxes to support the Church of England, and were unwilling to bow before any person of higher authority. These practices were treasonous to English officials who persecuted, killed, and imprisoned Quakers for their beliefs. The Quakers acquired East New Jersey in 1680 when Carteret died. The Quaker colonization continued west of New Jersey in a fertile area called Pennsylvania. This land belonged to William Penn and was named Pennsylvania, meaning Penn's Woods, in honor of Penn's father. Penn was attracted to the Quaker faith and supported the belief that religion should involve a personal relationship with God and that there was no need for an established church.
All men have a natural and indefensible right to worship the Almighty God according to the dictates of their own consciences. No man can of right be compelled to attend, direct, or support any place of worship, or to maintain any ministry against his consent. And no preference shall ever be given by law to any religious establishment or modes of worship. William Penn, 1682.
Penn was eager to establish a refuge for fellow Quakers in Pennsylvania. When he assumed control of the area, there were already several thousand Dutch, Swedish, and English squatters living on the land. Pennsylvania grew rapidly because no restrictions were placed on immigration to the colony. By 1700, only the well-established colonies of Virginia and Massachusetts were larger. Penn's new colony was decidedly liberal and included a representative assembly elected by the freemen or all of the landowners of the colony.
All peace is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness. For the advancement of these ends they have at all times an inalienable and indefeasible right to alter, reform, or abolish their government in such a manner as they may think proper.
Penn hoped to show that a government could run in harmony with Quaker principles and still maintain peace and order, and that freedom of religion for all residents could thrive without an established church.
No persons who shall confess and acknowledge one Almighty God, and profess themselves obliged to live quietly under the civil government, shall be in any case molested or prejudiced because of conscientious persuasion or practice, nor be compelled to frequent or maintain any religious worship place or ministry contrary to their mind, or to do suffer or any other act or thing contrary to their religious persuasion. Charter of Privileges, 1701.
The Quakers were pacifists, and Penn's government made no provisions for military defense. For nearly 50 years, the Quakers and the Indians lived in relative harmony because of the Quaker benevolence and Penn's policy of purchasing land from the Indians. However, Penn's acceptance of all people was a double-edged sword for the Indians, because as many non-Quaker settlers came to the colony, they undermined Penn's policies. In 1682, the Duke of York granted Penn the colony of Delaware, which was the area between Maryland and the Delaware River. In 1703, Delaware was granted its own assembly, and until the American Revolution, it kept its own assembly but remained under the governor of Pennsylvania. The English middle colonies of New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware had several common features. The middle colonies tended to be urban and were linked by trade and commerce. There was no dominant religious group, and the area became a refuge for a variety of dissenters and religious misfits. The cities along the coast of the middle colonies were maritime centers. There were many benefits that came with living in the middle colonies. Social and economic democracy prevailed, desirable land was easily acquired, and there was a large degree of religious and ethnic tolerance.